What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block strongest man, and the World's Strongest Man 2022 Flintstone Lift is underway. I just jumped on to catch some of the results, and some of them are pretty astounding so far. I figured I would jump on here for, again, as the title says, the 6 of you in the world who don't know who Big Loz and Liz are and aren't over there. Maybe some of you don't, and you're looking for some great strongman content for the first time and have come across my channel. So I want to give you an opportunity to come join the weight party, as it were. So you know that World's Strongest Man does not televise its show live. Comes in the US typically, at least last year it was about a month later, and in the UK around Christmas time. And we just want to kind of all support each other, follow the results, and talk strongman while we wait for the results to come across that we can't watch live. So let's have a look at Strongman Archives. I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can have a look at that. Let's see. And here we are. So for those of you who haven't seen Strongman Archives, you should definitely check it out. Wonderful compilation of information here from many, many shows. I think there's well over 1,000 shows on here now since its inception. And as you can see, here is the World's Strongest Man Finals. Here's what's going on so far. So the Giants medley happened earlier today. So did the deadlift. And you can see the overall standings. Alexi Novokov currently in the top position. But this session right now is about the Flintstone Lift. And for those of you unaware, the Flintstone Lift is a standard 1-inch bar, 1-inch thick bar, not a thick axle that strongmen typically would use. It is positioned on blocks, so it's up in the air, maybe at around chest height or so, enough for the athlete to kind of dip under it and choose whether they want to place it on their clavicle and press from there, or go behind the neck, position themselves so it's behind the neck and press from behind the neck. Some of the athletes find more leg drive that way. Some of them feel like they're not flexible enough to attempt it that way. So you can go either way, front or back. Either is allowed in this press. And the press type motion, I think anything is allowed as well. So a strict press, which I don't know why you would do that, because this is a press for maximum weight, the most you can press. So strict press would limit that, I would imagine. But strict press meaning no leg drive, no bouncing of any sort, just push it straight up. Or you can have a push press, which typically includes a dip and then up. Or you can have a split jerk, which Rob Kearney made pretty famous, where when you're pressing it up, the legs kind of do this, one forward and one back. So any of those motions, or a push jerk, I've seen Olympic lifters use, where the legs kind of splay out. I think any of those are allowed. Most of the guys, from what I hear, are pressing in front of the neck. Very few of them behind the neck. But so far, here's what we see. So if you look at Flintstone Lift here, the opening weight was 190 kilos. If you see an asterisk next to it, that means that was all that athlete was able to do, and they failed at the next weight up, which was 200 kilos. So Gabriel Rayom, as you can see, completed the 190 kilo opening weight and then failed at 200 kilo, which that's what that asterisk means. 190 would be what he gets credit for. Thor Ingolson Melstead, same thing. Made the 190 kilo opening weight and then failed at the 200 kilo weight. So that's why he has the asterisk as well. So he gets credit for the 190. Then the 200 kilo lifters, Mitchell Hooper, who's been a sensation so far at World's Strongest Man, breezing through the groups and starting off really well, winning the Giants medley earlier today. As you can see, he has 10 points in the Giants medley with a blistering time there. And if you guys haven't caught, I don't know if it was on his Instagram or World's Strongest Man, they showed what the yoke looked like with some giant neck tool apparatuses on there. It looked fantastic. You got to try to go catch that one. So Mitch Hooper ends up making the 190 and failing at 200. So he'll get credit for the 200 kilo, which looks like it'll be good enough so far for 6 points, but we don't know for sure because some guys are still going. They haven't failed yet. So the next weight up from 200 kilos is 212 kilos, and you'll see a whole litany of guys who seem to have made the 212 kilo lift successfully. And that includes Alexi Novokov, who seems to be really on a roll in the finals here, doing much better than past data for me that I'd researched would have suggested he'd do. I had him finishing, I think, 5th overall at Worlds, and it looks like he's positioning himself to do much, much better than that. I still will maintain that the bus pull is going to be harder for him than some of the bigger guys, but we'll see how that all works out. Tom Stoltman, also successful at 212 kilos. Then we had Trey Mitchell, who seems to be, from what I heard, made 200 kilos look easy, also successful at 212. Martins Licis at 212. Brian Shaw at 212. Luke Stoltman at 212. Maxine Boudrea at 212 as well. So that's where they all are now. So I can't say for sure. I don't think they've moved up from 212 yet. So it's difficult to tell from these results whether 212 is in fact what they're attempting currently, or they have successfully done it. I know some of the guys have successfully done it, but hard to tell. So we'll keep our eyes out and see what pops up on the screen as we go through. Let's see if I can bring up, I don't want to share it on the screen because I think World's Strongest Man probably doesn't want us sharing their content, but I will take a look to see if they have any different sorts of information on their website. So weird. Let's see. Alex, I told you to stay upstairs or behind me. Sorry for that interruption. Kids, am I right? So taking a look at the World's Strongest Man website, they're listing it by number of stones, which is interesting. So they're saying Alexi Novokov has done 4 stones. So I'm not sure what weight increment that is equivalent to. So they start at 190 kilos, then 200, then 212. I think they're going to 221 after that. So it has, for example, Mitchell Hooper at 3 stones is what they say. So I don't know how you have an odd number of stones, because wouldn't you have to put one on each side of the bar? So it'll be interesting when they televise this to see what it really looks like. But yeah, so I'm not getting any more information there about whether that's the current sort of positioning or that's, you know, something they've already completed. So it'll be interesting. What's up, Common Diaz? Push jerk. That's your favorite? Cool. Yeah, so who's your Colin Diaz, who's your favorite on this one? I think a lot of people were pushing for Mitch Hooper. He did well, but everyone's expecting him to win everything now based on how he started off. And, you know, obviously that becomes very difficult. Not everybody is good at every single event. My one surprise so far is Martins Licis. I had him picked to win overall, and I had him picked just based on recent past data, right, to like be at or near the top of all these events. And you know, I get that he doesn't win everything, but he's typically in like 2nd or 3rd place of everything so that he can make his move at the end. And he started off with 6 points on the Giants medley, 6 points on the deadlift, and we'll see how he does here. But, you know, not necessarily putting himself in the same starting position that we're used to seeing from him, at least very recently. So what do folks in the comments think about how Martins Licis is doing so far in any of these? Pada, what's up, Pada the Hut? Just watched Liverpool get beaten in Euro Cup final soccer. Football, right? What did your math predict for this one? Unfortunately, I'm ashamed to say I have a lot of friends in South America, and I don't watch soccer. So sorry, I have nothing to contribute there. Unfortunately, maybe you and I can work on putting together a prediction company for that in the future. We'll see. But my sympathies to you. Is that a good thing to say? I'm sure you were rooting hard for Liverpool. Who'd they get beaten by the way? I don't know who was playing whom. So I don't know. That being said, I'm looking at the score sheet here. I don't see anything higher than 212 yet. I do see some 212 asterisks popping up though, so that means some folks did not surpass that, and that means they went up in weight, and some people didn't get it. So if we look at where the asterisks are, Luke Stoltman looks like he's getting credit for 212 kilograms. So I believe the next weight after that was either 220 or 221 kilograms. And that asterisk would tell me he missed that weight. So he's going to get credit for the 212. Same thing with Brian Shaw, it appears, getting credit for the 212 kilogram weight and missing the next weight. They still, haven't decided what the points are, obviously, because they have to see where everybody falls. And I always get confused when I'm looking at Strongman Archives. My fault, not theirs. I sometimes look at the points to the left instead of to the right. It's to the right. So that's why they're all zeros, which makes more sense. And then we have Maxine Boudrea. Seems like he got credit for 212 kilograms. And because there's an asterisk, I'm assuming that means he's done and did not make the next weight up. And so those who are still in it appear to be Martins Litzes, who, hey, may make a move here and push himself up higher in the overall standings. Trey Mitchell, who, from what I've been hearing, is making weights look easy here, so he may win this event. We have Tom Stoltman still in it, keeping himself in great position to stay at or near the top of the leaderboard and defend his title. And Alexi Novokov looks like he's still in it as well at 212 kilograms now. I don't know if they're yet to make attempts, but so it looks like we have 4 competitors still in it at 212 kilograms, likely attempting the next higher weight since they don't have an asterisk saying they're done yet. And we'll see how that goes. So who do all of you think is going to win this event now that we see who's left? We have Alexi Novokov, Tom Stoltman, Trey Mitchell, and Martins Litzes. It's tough. I don't know. I got to say, from what I'm hearing of sort of the ease of press, I would go with Trey Mitchell, but all these guys, great pressers. Luke Stoltman gets a lot of overhead pressing compliments, let's say, because of his log press is so amazing. And it's funny, like I heard Eddie Hall on his channel talking about, Luke Stoltman is likely going to do really great here. I don't want to misquote, but something along those lines, like assuming he would do well here because he's a great log presser. And if you look at the data, Tom Stoltman is a lot better presser with a bar than Luke is. Luke is great with log, but it doesn't necessarily translate over. At least for him, it doesn't. And I always felt like Tom would do better than Luke here. So we'll see. I don't know if Tom's attempted yet. He may be attempting now, but this could all blow up. I could be totally wrong. And Tom could also fail 221 and end up with the same credit for 212. So we'll see how it ends up for these remaining 4 competitors on the last event of first day of World's Strongest Man 2022 finals, the Flintstone Lift, which has been absent for, if I remember correctly, about 25 years. So pretty cool to see it come back. The other thing I did here, just in terms of additional information and scenarios, is that Mitchell Hooper, who got credit for the 200 kilogram, missed 212 by the smallest of margins. Like he was very, very close to locking it out. He's pressing in front, that I know for sure. And very, very close and just couldn't quite get it. So we'll see what happens as we go along here. Pot of the Hut is also knackered and going to bed. Wanted to pop on and say good job so far. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. Really do appreciate that. The one that you want to look out for, it's one, I like to do my little silly things once in a while too. So I'm trying to do a video about who would win both the groups and the final events if these guys were all literally their nicknames instead of people. So like, would a dragon beat an albatross in a loading race, stuff like that. And so I'm missing probably still about 13 out of the 30 nicknames. Some guys don't have any. So unfortunately, they're going to have to compete as actual human beings and see how they do. But hey, that might be better because for example, like Gabriel Rayom is really good with a car walk. A Chilean mountain can't walk anything, so he would win, even though he's a human being. So look out for that silly stuff I like to do. But thanks for coming on, and I really do appreciate it. How good is Novokov? Going to lose points big on the truck pull, though, right? I think so. Based on not just people are saying, he's undersized for that, but just his history says that as well, I think. I typically take data of points earned out of possible points and all the shows where someone's done a particular event, and his rating was in the 40s, I think, out of 100. So, not terrible, but kind of lower than mid-pack. So, yes, I would expect him to lose points there for sure. And if what I've heard is correct, I don't know if it was just a rumor, but I heard it's the Sacramento City bus, so that would be pretty cool. I don't know. That's not confirmed, though. And we'll see. Power Steer is not necessarily his best event either, but I didn't have him doing as well on these other 3 events either, and he's really shown up big time, so you never know what Novokov is going to pull out of his hat. I don't know. So what do other folks think about who's going to take this Flintstone lift? We still have remaining Alexi Novokov, Tom Stoltman, Trey Mitchell, and Martins Licis. What do you think? I'm going to go take a look at World's Strongest Man's Instagram and see if they've posted anything that would be interesting. They have pictures of Luke doing it. It looks really cool. Again, I'm not going to share it for copyright reasons, but Luke looks like he's doing it behind the neck. Let's see. I'm going to watch this. Yeah, he's pressing behind the neck. So this one was a 212. They showed 212 looked really easy for Luke, so I'm surprised he didn't get the next lift. Wow. When you guys get a chance, head on over to the World's Strongest Man on Instagram and take a look at their latest post. Again, I'm not going to share it on my screen. I don't want to, do anything they wouldn't want shared, but go take a look when you get a chance, or do it on another screen while you're here as well. Luke Stoltman's 212 from behind the neck looked really easy. So very surprised he didn't get the next lift there. Brandon says it's gonna be Licis. We'll see. What did I predict? Let me take a look at what I predicted here, because I do my predictions based on, as you know, past data. I had him getting 6 points here. So I had Mitch Hooper winning this one, funny enough. And so if you take him out of the equation, because I didn't have contest data for him and he was a bit of an unknown, I had Trey Mitchell coming in second. So there you go. Trey really living up to that. So I would have had, if you take Mitch Hooper out of the equation, I had Trey, then I had Alexi and Tom Stoltman tying for second. Wow, it seems to be coming true. So the not patting myself on the back, patting the data on the back, the research data. So very, very interesting there. So of these guys, we have more results, it looks like. So let's take a look. Tom Stoltman, 226. Okay, so then, and Martins Licis is 226. 21, it looks like. So they're giving him credit for 212. So Trey Mitchell is out at 212. So we now have Alexi Novokov, Tom Stoltman, and Martins Licis advancing to 226 kilograms. I thought it was going to be 220 or 221. So I don't know if they skipped that or what happened, because yeah, it would be weird that Trey Mitchell would miss 221. Maybe the other guys decided not to do it. That would be crazy, but possible, I suppose. Wow. High drama at the Flintstone Lift. Yabba dabba do. Manuel says if the bus pull is light, the stairs are the big ones. I don't see Tom losing. Okay. Tom hit 226 easy. Did they post that somewhere, or are you there live in person? Shemian. Pot of the Hut says, has Licis underperformed? He's not far off the top pack, but not as high as I would expect on events so far. Looks like Tom's to lose to me, still backing Novokov to win the press. Crazy explosive mobility. For me, Licis has underperformed the data, yes. Again, I don't go by gut instinct or anything like that, but why don't we do that? While we're waiting for more results to come in, let me share that instead. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing the screen, and we'll share my data where you can see, if you haven't had a chance to follow some of my other, let's see. Interesting. Where is it? Well, that's weird. It doesn't want to pop up. All right. Anyway, let's go back to sharing what I had on the screen, and I'll just tell you. So I'll bring it up. You won't be able to see it, but Martins, based on the data, was supposed to win Giants medley. He got 6 points. He was supposed to split the win with Mitch Hooper on deadlift. Neither of them won. I think Martins got 6 points there on the deadlift here. And then Mitch Hooper got 6 points as well. Flintstone Lift is the one where I had Martins dipping based on past data. I expected 6 points for him. So here's where maybe he's going to make it up. Truck pull, I had him winning the truck pull based on past data. Same with duck walk power stairs, and I have him coming in second to Tom and Atlas stones. So far, underperforming, but overperforming on Flintstone Lift. So perhaps he'll make it up. We'll see. Tom's to lose. Tom is performing really well this time around. Tom's outperforming the data. That's for sure. Absolutely. I had Tom originally slated to, like, before I knew who was going to make the finals, I assumed he would get through his group. Based on the math, he would win his group. Actually, I think I had him winning a stone off to get through his group and then coming in 5th overall. Once he actually made the finals, I had recalibrated because some guys I had, like Janasha and Evan, didn't make it, so it recalibrated things, and I have Tom second right now is what I was expecting, but seems to be even outperforming that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Tom, Lisis, and Novokov all hit 226. So again, Shami, and I ask you, are you there in person? That would be really cool if you are. Yeah, it makes sense, because if they hit it, that's why you don't see an asterisk on Strongman Archives yet, meaning they're not done yet. Shamian says, I'm not, but someone who is told me. Interesting. That's really cool. Did I see the stairs behind the scenes? Fairly tall steps. I saw pictures of them. They did look pretty tall to me. I didn't realize it was a duck walk into the stairs. Yeah, they did mention that when they first released the news about what the groups were. What the events were. I had Mitchell Hooper and Kim Yadik on my show, so I have a whole series of videos with them. You can go find the one about duck walk power stairs where I talked to them and got their feedback about what they thought of that idea and how they thought they were going to do on that event. So yeah, not sure if it changes my feelings if they have to carry the implement further. I believe it's not far. I had heard 8-meter walk, and then after that, I had heard 5-meter walk for each implement. So what I'm picturing is each of the implements, I don't know how many there are, like 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, are lined up. And so you walk 5 to 8 meters to the stairs, go up the 3 stairs, come back to the starting position, get the second one, walk that 5 to 8 meters, go up the 3 stairs, and so forth until you're done with all the implements. Probably 4 or 5 implements, something like that. Yeah. Mitch told me what it was. I don't remember. I think 275 kilograms is the highest weight, but I don't remember. I think it was either 4 or 5 of them. But yes, I was aware that it is a medley of duck walk into power stairs. It's the funny phrase I use for that on all my videos, if you've been following along, is I call it horizontal duck walk into vertical duck walk, because basically they're similar events, and duck walk is like almost every strongman and strongwoman's least favorite event, and power stairs is almost all their favorite event, which I find really interesting because they're similar events, just one's up a flight of stairs and one is on the ground, but it's a weight between your legs sort of both times, right? So very interesting there. But yeah, having a look, it looks like they're still not listing anything higher than 226. I hadn't heard what was above that, so I hope they have enough stones to let them keep going. Let's see, I'm going to refresh World's Strongest Man's Instagram. Again, I won't share the screen. Yeah, I don't see anything new there. And I'm going to assume none of the guys are posting in between lives, so we won't see anything on any of their Instagrams. I'm going to check Trey anyway, but I don't expect to see it. No. Interesting. So if Lises wins this and gets his 10 points, then that would put him at 22. And then if Tom, let's say, gets, well, the math would have to be, a lot of people will get the same points as each other, so I don't want to speculate on what the points will be, because there aren't enough increments in weight for as many people as there are. Have I been finding any more natural stones and stuff to lift? Heard you talking about it in my walks before. Yeah, all the time. Have you tried any of these events yourselves and measured your predicted performance against them? No, no, not at all. But yeah, natural stones is my favorite thing. So I have several trails near here, depending on which of my kid I'm taking to school. Like there's a trail near one of their schools and a trail near the other one. And so there are particular stones that I've been able to weigh, and I know which ones they are, and I leave them in a particular place, and I know how challenging they are for me, and I'll do either, pick it up and run with it, or overhead presses, or the heaviest stone I've ever been able to lap and then get to chest. I believe, like I weighed it on a frozen ground, so I think it's fairly accurate weight, but I'm trying to set up a strap and like pulley system where I'm going to use a metal bar. There's somebody left, it looks like a big concrete sort of opening to a sewer that's stuck in the woods. And so it's really solid. It ain't moving anywhere. So I'm using a hanging scale off of tie down straps around the stone, and I'm going to use a metal bar to lift it so I get a more accurate weight. But what I can tell so far is just over 210 pounds, and I was able to lap that and get that to chest. And the reason I was able to do that is by watching Hannah Lindsay, who's a strong woman and also a Highland Games athlete, who we saw at the Arnolds. So if you didn't catch the Arnolds, you should check her out. Incredible, incredible athlete. And I watched her do Atlas stones and adopted one of the techniques, because the problem I was having is I was getting the stone up off the ground but not clearing my knees, so I couldn't lap it. Then it occurred to me, like, you don't have to clear your knees to lap it. You can start squatting back all the way down, and the counterweight of your body against the stone can allow you to roll it into your lap. And once it's in your lap, now you can use the muscles of your whole body to stand up with it, unlike when you're getting it off the ground, which it's all like forearms, shoulders, and biceps. It's much, that's the hard part. Lapping, it's the hard part. Standing up with it's the easy part. So, yeah, always looking for more stones to lift. In fact, Pata, if you watched OSG last year, where Pablo Cordiaca qualified for Worlds through official Strongman Games, he won his class there. The other two guys who were right behind him also qualified for Giants Live, and that was Spencer Remick and Tyler Cotton. Tyler Cotton lives about 40 minutes from here, so he's offered to train together, which would be freaking awesome. So one of these days, I'm going to give him a call and ask him, hey, you want to come run through the woods with me and find some stones to press, and we'll film it and throw it on. I think all you guys will get a really great kick out of watching his prowess and watch me be really mediocre, but try really hard. So yeah, I do love it. I do love it very much. The events that I've tried, to answer the rest of your question, Pata, I have tried to do as many of those events as I can, which is stuff I find around me in the woods. So I've done log presses. Clearly, obviously, they don't have handles, but pick up logs and press them, right? And then I've done, like sandbag toss for height. So you don't have sandbags in the woods, but you have stones. And there was a fallen tree, right? So I lined up stones of increasing weights and tossed them back over a fallen tree. This is all on my Instagram if you ever want to check it out. I did stone over bar. So I took two branches, stood them up. One had a fork in them, right? And so I had a crossbar across, and again, stones of increasing weights, and did one after the other over the bar. So I've done stone over bar, quote unquote, like weight toss or sandbag toss for height. I've done, or for time actually, I've done max stone to chest. I've done fingers with a big fallen log. I've done log press. I've done a lot of these events in the woods. I've never competed though, but yeah, it might be fun one day. We should see. Joey, what's up, Joey? Let's go, Loz. I agree. Loz and Liz are doing a great job. Liz doesn't get enough credit. She's doing all the work. Loz is the personality. Liz is the one doing all the editing. So let's give her some credit. Yeah, getting some love. Thank you, Joey. I really appreciate it. What's my name? My name's The. The no, my is my no. I'm John. Yeah, I don't reveal my last name usually on the internet, but I'm John. So wonder if Big Loz even knows that. I don't think I ever told him my name. Funny, as much as we've chatted, I've never said my name to him. But yeah, they're doing a great job over there, and I'm doing my best over here. You guys might not know if you haven't watched the series of videos I've done on World's Strongest Man, which has been, counting this, I've done, I know they've done probably close to 50. They've done a lot, but I've been doing a lot in my own right. I think this is 31 for me, which is a lot. And I have COVID right now. So this is my, appealing to your sympathies of, hey, what a great job he's doing being sick. I'm just kind of barely getting over it now. But yeah, so world situation got me. So yeah, if you haven't liked and subscribed while you're here, please go ahead and do that. Really do appreciate it. For those of you who have been watching me for almost 2 years since I've been on and want to show your appreciation in some small way, super chats are available. So it doesn't have to be anything big. Any token would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Really do mean that. So let's see. Do we have anything else that has popped up? Alexi still says 226. Tom still says 226. My Amazon auto assistant over here thinks I'm calling her name when I say Alexi. 226 for Martine still. So I don't see any updates as of yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So we have some people thinking Novokov's going to take it, some Tom, and some Martines. So we'll see what happens. Again, based on my data, I would have had Trey winning, which he did not. And then I would have had Tom Stoltman and Alexi Novokov tied, both doing better than Martins. So we'll see how it actually shakes out. I don't even know what the next weight's supposed to be because this is the highest one I heard of in the planning. Maybe they have somebody out in the concrete yard carving out some more stones to put on there. We'll see what happens. Emmanuel says, Tom bombed last World's Strongest Man with the log and now is destroying the Flintstone press. Surprising. They're very different. I think it's the center of gravity, really. A log, like if you have a 12-inch log, you have to remember that while you're rolling that up, the center of gravity is 6 inches away from your body, right? Whereas a bar, depending on how you're positioning, can be right over your center of gravity. So that's why Luke Stoltman is excellent, probably the best in the world at log press, and Tom is better than him at a bar press. It's just some folks are more suited to one thing versus another. Joey, it's 2 a.m. here in Israel. I'm just waiting for this class. Wow, you are dedicated. I didn't know that's where you were located. You are dedicated. Wow. Even for Loz and Liz, it's late. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast of the U.S. It's almost 7 p.m. here. So it would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 over there. Yeah, be like midnight for them, I think. I believe they're 5 hours ahead. Yeah, I make this cheesy joke. So, Joey, if I haven't made it to you, I'll make it now. Since you live in the future, can you tell me who wins? Got to make sure everybody I ever meet hears that cheesy joke. Tom really has worked on weaknesses. I agree. Press gone great and deadlift top notch now. Yep, absolutely. If he can sort his grip and then natural stones, will he be unbeatable? Perhaps. I mean, they've always talked about his focus as well, but that hasn't been a problem this year or last year. So I do feel like he gets up for certain contests, like he gets up for Worlds. There was the one of those Giants live shows last year, I forget which one it was, where he kind of, I don't want to say gave up. He had an injury, but he seemed to say like, I don't need this. I'm getting ready for a more important show kind of thing. He didn't say those words, but that's the impression that I think a lot of people got. Whereas for Worlds, he gets up for it. He's perfectly ready, perfectly focused. And it's good for Luke, too. Luke can look out for Luke and do his best, right? Yeah, pretty much midnight here in the UK. Yep, that's what I thought. Haven't been to the UK in a long time. I got to get back over there. The world situation has made travel hard, but one of these days, got to get back over there. Yeah, every time I talk to somebody from another country, if I know anything in that country, I have to mention it. Excuse me, I got to blow my nose. So I used to work for a company that had an office in Bracknell. So if you're in the UK, you have to know where Bracknell is because you know every city in your country. Still all 226s. Yeah, believe it or not, even though it's a lot earlier here, I'm waiting for this to be over and go lay down too. This world situation's got me down. Almost over though. It's not a. It doesn't seem to be like a 2-week plus sickness like it was at the beginning. At least not for me. So count my lucky stars, I guess. Let's see if we have any more posts on World's Strongest Man's IG. No, nothing updated, but they do have some really cool videos on there. Novokov doing the car deadlift and Luke Stoltman doing the Flintstone press. They're visually appealing. You should definitely go check them out. Check them out now while we're waiting on another screen, and then come back over. The funny thing is, or the interesting thing is, looking at Novokov doing the car deadlift. It's a Jeep, actually, SUV, and it's still a front hole deadlift. Like car deadlifts that I've seen are typically neutral grip deadlifts at the sides, like a trap bar deadlift would be. And this apparatus seems to have those grips at the sides, but that's not what they're using. They're using a crossbar. So very interesting there. Yeah, you would think that might favor a shorter athlete who has to do less of an arc, because that's an arc motion when you're doing that, right? So you would think it would favor a shorter athlete more. All right, so let's have a look. I see a 235 for Tom Stoltman now, and for Martins Litzis. So I'm going to assume Alexi Novokov attempting 226 right now, and the other two have both cleared it. 235, wow. So that would be 470 plus 47 pounds, right? 517 pounds, I believe, is what that is. Unbelievable. All right, excuse me 1 second. I will be right back while we wait to see what happens with Alexi. All right, coughing fit. Let's see, did I miss anything? 235 still for Tom Stoltman and Martins Litzis, and Alexi still at 226. Results coming in slow as always. Litzis just hit 235, says Brandon Stokely. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon, you on site? Emmanuel says, Tom is beatable, just seems unusually lucky this year. Easy group, good events, good variation of events. Britain's Strongest Man was even more suited to Tom. Yes and no. Like, I kind of have a couple schools of thought on that. I just think he puts a lot of his eggs in the World's Strongest Man basket. Like, that's where he focuses a lot of his energy on. A lot of the events are good events for him if you look at the history. So, and as far as the easy group, my data doesn't show that. It wasn't a hard group either, but his group was pretty much in the middle. So all that talk about him having the easiest group, if you look at the success rates of everybody in every group, it didn't turn out that way. The easiest group was Luke Stoltman's group, actually. I did the calculations 3 different ways, and it looked like Luke's was the easiest group. Martine's had the second easiest group. Tom was right in the middle. Brian's group was the second hardest, and Alexi's was the hardest, if I remember correctly. I did a video all about this, so you can go check it out on my channel whenever you get an opportunity, but I believe that's how it turned out. Tom did not have the easiest group, at least not in the various ways I tried to measure it. And I was on that train too. I was like, hey, like, your gut instinct is this is an easy group. And I think that's not you, but at least for me, that's my instinct because it was easier than Brian's group. And I think that's why you're thinking, like, why are they trying to keep the 4-time winner down and push the 1-time winner? And you think that Tom has the easiest group because it's easier than Brian's, and it was not the easiest group. No way they go above 235, right? The ground isn't that solid, and it's already so impressive. I don't think so. I didn't think they would get to 235. 235, like I said, what is that, 517 pounds? That's right around the top gym lift we saw anybody do, right? Didn't Pablo Cordiaca do right over 500 pounds? And somebody else did as well. I don't remember, but I think 2 people did over 500. Is there a world record for this press event? Pretty obscure, I guess, but not sure if it has been done before. I don't know if there's a world record, Pata, but I was on Loz before, and they were saying that 212 was the highest ever done at a World's Strongest Man. So I don't know if there's a record beyond that, but they're already far past the highest ever done at World's Strongest Man, from what I'm aware. So we're saying Martine's hit 235. Now, do we know if Tom hit 235? I don't know. All I'll say is this, like, this is going to go into my Block Strongest algorithm for future contests, and these guys are going to be favorites going forward for any sort of overhead bar press. I don't see this being very different if it's an axle press. None of them have tiny hands. Alexi at 226 for quite a while here. Like, it seems like they should tell us whether he hit it or he didn't. But Novokov has been really performing well so far in the first 3 events to be in first place. I didn't expect that, to tell you the truth. And I'm probably, looking at all these names, I'm probably rooting harder for him than anybody else. I mean, I like all these guys, but like, I do root hard for Alexi, so I want him to win. I just didn't. I had him coming in 5th, I think, overall. The maths just didn't support it. Maxime's a great guy too, but he started off with a yoke in the Giants medley and a deadlift, like his 2 worst events. So Maxime's been on the show, I think, 3 times. Really great guy. If you haven't talked to him and you ever get a chance, do so. You'll learn a lot. All of them hit 235. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to have to talk to Elwa because the website clearly says there's no need to refresh the page, but I'm going to do it anyway. As you say. Novokov up to 235. Yep. You know what it might be? His website might be optimized for Chrome, and I'm sharing it on Edge because I'm on StreamYard on Chrome, so I have to use another browser to share. Maybe that's what it is. Shemian says 240's next. Makes sense. I mean, can't make the increments too big at this point. So 240 would be 480 plus 48 pounds, which would be 528 pounds, right? Because it's times 2.2. This is crazy. I agree with you. Yeah, didn't someone say that the world record for this type lift, not with stones and a Flintstone looking thing, obviously, but with traditional weights, I think the record's 270 from what I heard. We think Iron Bibby will compete at World's Strongest Man next year. I heard that rumor as well. If so, his data is going to be poopy. Also, I can't remember if you've covered it already, but hypothetically, how would Matty K have performed? I did not. Honestly, too much work to do with the real athletes than to do hypotheticals, but I typically do stuff like that after World's Strongest Man where there's a little more time. So, hey, we'll check it out. I'll see. I mean, there's a deadlift in there, so not great for him, but some other stuff he could be good at. No dumbbell. Dumbbell would have helped a few different people, I think. Mitch Hooper brought that up when he was on my show a few weeks back, like before he became very super popular for his accomplishments here. He came on my show twice, and he brought that up that he felt he was a little surprised by that, like no dumbbell. But no, I do have a little bit of data for Iron Bibby. It's tells a surprising story for people that think he's just a presser. He's great at Hercules hold. He's great at a few different things. There's an option for Imperial, so I don't have to do the math. I like doing the math. And I also like leaving it in kilos for what the vast majority of the world uses. You shouldn't have to cater to me just because I'm in the U.S. That would be too arrogant. So 235s all across the board. Come on, there's only 3 of you. Go through it quickly, please. A lot of my friends here need to get to bed. Are these guys going to be exhausted after this, and it will take away from their performance tomorrow? Explosive push is kind of all body, and if next event is truck, they might be fried. I tend to agree with you, especially because they're doing 3 events per day now, unlike 2 per day like they had in the groups. And also after the groups, they had a rest day. So I know that they're trying to end it at the end of a weekend, but I think for those 2 reasons, the finals are considerably more taxing than the groups. 1, there's no rest day in between, and 2, there's more events on each day. So even if they weren't pushing themselves to the limit here, I think they're already going to be tired. So I don't know. Got to see what the bus pool looks like. Like I said, I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true at all that it might be the Sacramento City bus. When we had Mitch Hooper and Kim Uyarik on, we were talking about, like, they were saying like they should put passengers on it to make it harder. But yeah, Pata, I'm with you. I think it's definitely going to take its toll, for sure. Did you guys catch the Giants Live podcast with Mitch Hooper where he talked about being like not subscribing to the ice bath theory? I found that really interesting. That's not something that, one of the few things that is not a repeat from when he came on our show. He didn't talk about that when we talked, but he feels like inflammation is a natural part of the healing process and recovery process. And if you bring it down to 0, you're like messing with what the body's trying to do to recover. And so his recovery is walking around. Like basically he said, in his day job, he walks around and that's his active recovery. So he doesn't go crazy with massages or ice baths or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to, maybe he'll go for a long walk this evening. Let's see. Yeah, if this goes much longer, I might have to just drop. My kids are doing crazy stuff upstairs and got to catch them before they break everything. 235s all around. Main thing I'm thinking is these guys have already done 3 or 4 more reps than the others and could have a few more still. Ugh, you think? I don't know. 235's got to be near the limit. Also, last year they pulled a train, right? So I guess a bus sounds about right. It's interesting you bring that up. They were supposed to pull a train. They ended up pushing a train, if you remember correctly, because everybody tried to pull it and it wouldn't go anywhere except for Yanni Hansen, who was able to budget. And I think if I remember correctly, Evan couldn't move it at all. And Evan is a strong guy. and they were talking about maybe the brakes were locking up in the heat, but then it turned out supposedly that wasn't it. It was just way heavier than they thought it was going to be. So they made it lighter and they made it a push. But yeah, that was an interesting situation for sure. So yeah, when I heard this one was going to be a truck or a bus pull, I thought like, I hope that's some kind of truck, because if it's a pickup truck, that's nothing for these guys. But bus sounds better. You're right. I actually asked Mitch Hooper and Kim Woyadik when they were on the show, like, is that dazzling enough? Like, shouldn't it be a plane or something? But I guess certain planes could be lighter than a bus. Depends, you know. They're made to fly, right? They can't be too heavy. $235s all around still. Let me go ahead and refresh. Yeah, Lisi's is out at 235, it looks like. But guys, I'm going to call it. Thanks for joining me again on my blog, Strongest Man, and enjoy the rest of it. I got to go. And of course, until next time, as always, ciao, homie.